Hi there, and many thanks for being here today. If it is your first time here, I'm Alex Beldi, and I dedicated years documenting wildlife in their natural habitat, helping their conservation in the front lines. In today's video, I'm going to share with you some of the teachings and what I learned from documenting wildlife and nature during all these years. So I've been reflecting a lot on which would be the best and eventually the most efficient way to share all this information with you. So by the end of this video, you might see wildlife and nature with different eyes, eventually in a much better way. So I came out with the idea about writing down 10 points, which actually were more than that, but I had to do a selection because otherwise it would have been a very long video. So I wrote 10 points down, and then I will dive deep into each one of them with stories and facts which I personally witnessed. Actually, even with only 10 points, the video came out to be over 50 minutes long. So I divided it in two parts, and this is part one. So let's get started. Oh, by the way, wildlife of course is part of nature. But in this video, I'm going to express verbally wildlife and nature for a better understanding of the concepts. You got it, right? At least I hope so. Let's get started, guys.
Dedicated years traveling to some incredible places. I'm Alex Beldi, and I'm a wildlife photographer. Beauty on Earth project, it is a tribute to the planet, where I hope, through photography, to convey the beauty of the species and the place they have in the world, and try to help protect them, but also show the impact we have on them and their habitat.
Support the project by choosing a membership on Patreon.
If you are new on this channel and you would like to stay updated, please consider to subscribe. Thank you very much.
First, I would like to talk about the love between the mother and the baby. As we know, love is a very strong mental state, emotional state, which is so powerful not just for us, but eventually for creation in general. I'm going to tell you this story, and in Sumatra, in the North Sumatra, I was documenting there the orangutans, and I've noticed the love between the mother and her baby. And just so you know, orangutans, baby orangutans grow up slow, same as human babies. So when they are 3 or 4 years old, they are still little. And they basically care about playing around with the branches, you know, and the mother is just sitting there, you know, like checking on them. But I remember this episode when, you know, the mother is very experienced in, you know, just going from 3 to 3. And the babies, of course, they are still learning, so they were slower. He was slower in this case. And I remember he was, you know, crying, literally, because the mother was very fast, so he couldn't keep up with her, you know, and with the same speed. So he was a bit behind, and I remember he was crying like, I don't even know like how to make the same, you know, sound, but it was something like this, like, and in this moment, really, I was just, man, this is just, you know, a baby. And it really melted my heart. Honestly, still today when I think about this episode, really, in this moment I've seen no difference between us and them. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the next love story. And this love story also took my breath away. I don't know if you watched already the documentary about the dove, about the white colored doves. It was actually, you know, the love from the parents and the baby doves in this case. And man, it took my breath away when I saw their parents looking for the baby dove, and calling him, and man, this was very, very tough, very powerful.
This morning, the mother of this dove is looking for him, and is just flying all around. And it's very sad. It breaks my heart. And it looks like there is no difference between the love of a mother and her child or her baby. Doesn't matter what species it is, human or other species of animals.
I've seen a mother looking for her baby, and again, I hope you'll be able to watch this full documentary, because it's worth it. But again, it was a witness of how powerful the love in between them was. Like, oh man, it's so beautiful, it's so beautiful to notice that. A lot of beautiful things are not even noticed, because we have so many other things to do, right? So I'm glad that, throughout this kind of work, we hope to help you to understand more about them and to connect more with them, and eventually, help creation and help their conservation as well. The truth is that we are not even scratching the surface of understanding how intelligent life on Earth is. Nature has its consciousness. Planet Earth is alive and has its own consciousness. It's just different from our consciousness. All the species of plants, trees, and other animals and insects, they are highly intelligent beings, and who evolved for millions of years, and they are highly intelligent. They have simply a different way of being compared to ours, and for some things similar as well. You've seen the love, and the trees, how they communicate in between them, and they transfer nutrients from one to another. It's mind-blowing to me, it's so beautiful. And again, there is so much we still need to learn about, again, how intelligent life on Earth is. So I know it might seem absurd, to some people, but all the insects and all life in general, and even rocks and the mountains and the ocean, they have their own consciousness. It's just different from our consciousness. So I think we're, again, maybe in the future, maybe I don't know how many generations will take, but I hope that we'll be able to understand more about life on Earth and see it eventually with different eyes, just not from an anthropocentric point of view, but to see ourselves part of the ecosystems and part of creation in general. I honestly think that we are, a lot behind in understanding life on Earth. And, often it's even beyond the understanding through science. It's even more than that. So in order for us to understand more, we have to go beyond that as well. Edgar Cayce has a very interesting quote, and I think he's very right in his words. So check it out. By awakening the Native American teachings, you come to the realization that the Earth is not something simply that you build upon and walk upon and drive upon and take for granted. It is a living entity. It has consciousness. Edgar Cayce. Before we move on with the video, I would like to say a huge thank you to the people that are part of Beauty on Earth family on Patreon. Thanks a lot, guys. In case you'd like to know more details about Beauty on Earth family, please check the link in the description below. Thanks a lot. Nature can heal us, and our mental health can be highly influenced by the nature. And again, I know it might seem absurd to some people, because today we are living more and more disconnected lives. But try and think, how do you feel when you walk in a park, or in a forest, or on a beach, or in any natural area? How do you feel? You feel good, right? Maybe at peace. Maybe you put some of your thoughts in order. So it helps, right? Then how do you feel when you touch a plant, or when you touch a tree, or when you hug a tree? Have you ever tried to hug a tree? And by the way, if you would ever try to hug a tree, I sincerely recommend you to ask him permission before you do that. Because again, he's a living being and he has its own consciousness, and it's better. You'll be received more welcome. And so I highly recommend you to ask him permission, and then try to see how you feel. Maybe focus a lot on sensations. I do believe that nature can help the healing process of trauma, illnesses. And try and think, medicine comes from nature, food comes from the nature, the one that is of course natural. Then the clothes, try and think about it. Like pretty much everything comes from nature. So why should we continue to ignore it instead of trying to live a life in harmony with the nature, trying to consider it, to respect it, and to not feel like separate from the nature. I think we should consider ourselves as part of the nature, as we truly are, and to make our actions to reflect this behavior, and to live with nature, not against it, as unfortunately I think the majority of us is eventually doing. And I'm saying unfortunately because we are the ones also in first place to pay the consequences of that, and I think we all seen it. So you see, nature is healing for humanity. We need nature. If we continue to live disconnected from the nature, we are hurting ourselves. It's unproductive for us. So I hope these words helped. I hope, because they really come from the heart. And I'm sharing this because I spend a lot of time there in the nature, hundreds of hours. They must have teach me something. And I don't want to keep all these teachings for me, I want them to share with you, because I want other people to get the medicine from it and to get all the benefits from it, because nature is there, it's free. It's available for all of us. But we need to take care of it. Because if we don't take care of it, then we will be the ones to pay the consequences of it. And this is also our home, this is the home also of the orangutans, the whales, the dolphins, the iguanas, the green macaws, the military macaws. And this is also our home. And we need to take care of it. So this is also another personal reflection and on wildlife, because I think a more accurate translation would be wise life. Do you agree with me? Because if you look like in the natural world, You know, the other species, they have a lot of respect for the environment, for their ecosystem. It's very rare to find that, you know, in the natural world, other species, they are destroying their home. You know, and they, most of the times, you know, they are just taking what they need. You know, you see, when the lion is full or other, you know, then he leaves the rest, and you know, for the vultures. And if you look at us, we have a lot, but then we want more. So it's like we have an endless appetite for, you know, just to have more and more and more. So I think maybe we should change our mentality. And I'm not saying that abundance is wrong. It's just, you know, what kind of and how much as well. So if you look at the natural world, we are the only one that is destroying you know, its environment. And if you look, the wildlife in general, wildlife, you know, they are very patient. Of course, I kind of generalizing it, but you know, the majority is this. They are patient, they are strong. You know, try and think, when we have something, or we can go to a doctor, but when they have something, they cannot go to a doctor. You know, eventually, if they are lucky, they might find someone to help them, as we found the sea turtle with the ghost fishing gear at her hind flipper, and luckily we managed to rescue it. But you know, many individuals out there, they just have to keep going and with the issue. But us, you know, we can go to a doctor, we can go, so you know, they are very strong, and we take for granted a lot of things. Hey guys, if you found this video useful, please have a look at the second part, and it will be great to know what was the part that you enjoyed the most in this video.
So please write it in the comments below.
And I hope you'll enjoy the second part as well. Thank you very much. And feel free to share it. You might change someone's life. Cheers guys.
If you are new on this channel and you would like to stay updated, please consider to subscribe. Thank you very much.